everyone, it's Linnea, and today I have a product focus video for the Scrapping for Less blog and YouTube channel. I'm going to be using the My Favorite Things Santa and Friends stamp set, as well as some other little dies and stuff to make my little scene. So I laid out my scene on top of a card base the way I thought I wanted it to look. And this is what I do a lot of the times. I'm not good at sketching, so I don't sketch out my card ideas. I usually just grab all the products I think I want to use and lay them out on my card. I used a circle die to die cut a moon, just a circle shape, from some Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo masking paper. And now I have a blending brush, and I'm going to be using some Distress Oxide Squeezed Lemonade over top of that whole circle. And then I'm going to also grab some fossilized amber and go around the outside of the circle just to give a little bit of dimension and a little bit of variation in color. These new blending brushes are new to me, but I do think I'm starting to prefer them over the blending foam. For the most part, I get an easier blend with them, especially when I use the oxide inks, and you're going to see the difference when I start doing the background. So I am just going to remove this mask, and if you're careful, and I ripped mine, but still, I'm going to be able to get a couple more uses out of it. So now I'm using just regular Distress ink, and you can see it's kind of blotchy, but I'm not taking any care to blend it out because I wanted to have a snowy background. So I think having some of the texture helps with the aspect of making it look like a sky. So I'm using some chipped sapphire all over my background, and then I'm going to use some purple, and I was using Dusty Concord, and it just wasn't dark enough for me. It was blending in with that chipped sapphire. So I ended up grabbing my Wilted Violet, and that gave me the depth of color that I was looking for. I'm going to add that around the edges, and then I'm also going to go in with some black soot and add just some darkness to make it look like a night sky. And I just kind of blend off the color onto a piece of scrap paper every time I change colors. And now you're going to see that it does look like a sky once everything is all done. And I'm going to use some white acrylic paint, and with the help of my son, just add some snowflakes. I got some big globs, but I'm not too worried about it. I'll cover up the one with my image, and the other one, I had planned to cover it up with my little city scene here. This is the Lawn Fawn village border, and I'm just adding some yellow behind the openings for the doors and the window, so it'll look like a little town at nighttime with all the lights on. I use some multi-matte medium, and I'm just going to glue it down onto my cardstock, and I'll flip it over and just trim off the excess that's on the side there. And you can see my little scene starting to come to life. After I've trimmed it off, I'm going to be stamping the reindeer from the My Favorite Things Santa and Friends stamp set. I stamped it onto watercolor cardstock, used some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and some clear embossing powder because I'm going to be using one of my favorite coloring techniques, and that is these watercolor markers. The markers that I use are from Staedtler, but I really do encourage you to use whatever you have. If you have Distress ink markers, if you have just like those real brush tip markers, use what you have. You can even use regular watercolors to do this. All I do is just add some color and then blend it out with my water brush. And I thought my brown was too light, so I ended up going over it a second time to darken it up. And then this is really it for my card. I stamped out a sentiment. I ended up cutting my sentiment strip in half, and that way I could do a stacked sentiment, and I always use my T-square ruler to make sure I get it straight. I'm adding everything with foam tape, and that'll be the end to my card. Thank you so much for watching. Please go over to the Scrapping for Less blog to see more still photos and get some more information. Thank you so much. Bye.